Hello and welcome to another video in which we will color together another page from the coloring book Mythomorphia by Kerby Rosanes. Honestly, I never wanted to color this particular page. For me, as a person who doesn't like coloring details, the amount of flowers and leaves was kind of a horror. But as you know, I am on the mission to complete the whole book, so no excuses. I will have to color non-favorite pages sooner or later. And why did I choose such a journey? Of course, I could choose a different book, but Mythomorphia is my #1 favorite coloring book that I own. So yeah, it makes sense to me to have it completed, and I can't wait to know the feeling of having a book completed. It's also pretty possible that I will continue with another one after completing Mythomorphia, and my guess that the second book I would like to finish is Worlds Within Worlds. In fact, I'm not a person who would need to finish everything if it's not interesting to me. I have no problem dropping a game, a movie, or a book, or a coloring page. But I really feel the sense in finishing this book, even though I don't love every picture in the book. However, I like the challenge of expanding my comfort zone and creating something new from those pages I don't love so much. And when I was flipping through Mythomorphia and choosing which page I will do next, I stopped on this page and just a glimpse of green colors crossed my mind. Well, I was listening to the soundtrack from the series Loki, so I was affected by that for sure. But as I saw the antlers of the Jackalope, I immediately connected that to Loki's helmet. And this is how the idea for this page was born. Now the harder part, realization. At first, I wasn't quite sure how to proceed with my idea, so I was thinking. I browsed some Loki-themed pictures on Pinterest, and finally I decided to make the moon in the middle and few planets around. I also liked the idea to do the jackalope all in black to indicate the silhouette, but in the end I decided to give it a little bit of color. I was also thinking about a medium to use. I really like to use watercolors, but there are two problems. First is the paper. Even though it can handle the water, the paint just doesn't behave as good as it does on proper watercolor paper, and I have found myself really mind that. The second issue is the opaqueness and smooth layer. Really dark paint would cover all the lines under, but in combination with the non-watercolor paper and some middle and light tones, I was afraid that it wouldn't end up to my liking. Another option is the acrylic paint, which could work really nicely, but in the end, I decided to use colored pencils and Posca with a little bit of acrylic paint around the moon and planets. You may see that the pencil didn't cover the original lines completely. Now, you may think that I could just cover all the lines before applying pencils. And I could do that for sure, but I really don't like how pencils change and don't blend on such a surface. I have experience with opaque and transparent acrylic paint, gouache, ink, acrylic pen, and whatever you could think of, but the result is always the same. Colored pencils just don't work on top of that properly. Other thing is if you color only a small area or you want to lighten the edges. In these cases it can work nicely, but I wanted to have a solid white layer. Anyway, the fact that the black lines are visible a little bit is not a big deal for me. And of course, for blending, I used mineral spirit, which really helped with all the large areas and blend everything really nicely. Now, for the background, I used black Posca pen with 8mm tip. I got this when the local shop had all Posca products on sale, and I would never guess how useful it is in coloring books. It covers large areas in a blink of an eye. And fortunately, on this page there were no narrow areas to fill, so it was really fast. When the page was dry, which was within a few moments, I thought that something was still missing. Before applying the Posca pen, I did a glow around the planets, but because I was using the acrylic pen, the hard edge around the foggy glow wouldn't be very pleasant. I would need to do the transition into black space with pencils, and by doing that, I would be probably still coloring the background at this moment. So I covered it And then I was trying to figure out what I could use to create the glow on top of the black space. I was trying everything: inks, soft pastels, Nia colors, and colored pencils. But nothing worked to my satisfaction. By the way, I don't show that in this stylized video, but if you're interested, I have a full video with all the attempts on my Patreon, and besides this, you will find there also another full real-time videos for other stylized videos I have on my channel, and also there are plenty of exclusive videos that are posted only on Patreon. Also, as a member, you have a chance to vote in monthly polls and choose which page you want me to color for you next. Lastly, before I continue with the story, I would really appreciate if you could give this video a like, or if you could share it with your friends and family. I do all the filming and editing stuff alone, which is really time consuming and not very easy, especially in combination with my daily work. So every support, like giving the video a like or sharing or leaving me a comment, really helps me to keep going forward. Alright, get back to the story. Well, there are actually only a few steps left. So, how did I solve the misty, foggy glow? I took the acrylic paints in shades of green and white, and with a small cosmetic brush, I applied it by tapping the brush on the paper, followed by circle movement for creating this foggy feel. The paint also covered a bit of antlers and Jackalope's paw, and I left it like that to indicate the feel that the fog is really all around. In the end, I highlighted some parts with white Posca, and for the stars, I used my usual and my favorite method by sprinkling and splashing the paint from the brush. And here we go! From a disliked coloring page to fun and challenging creation. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a beautiful day and see you soon! Bye bye!